So sorry for the delay. Good evening, everybody. Great to have some of you back again, and great to have the rest of you, all the newcomers, onto our webinar, something that we're doing regularly now. Tonight's topic is why Netanya, and I'll get there in a minute. Just like before, we got, it says Darren Rich at the bottom, but it's Daniel Eisenberg from Isra Transfer, who's between flights and he's running to his flight now. So let's give Daniel a couple of minutes just to speak just generally, and then we'll carry on with our presentation.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. So yeah, flying all around the States. Right now, there's so many people in the U.S. that have been on the fence, have buy, not to buy. And after the events in Israel, there's a lot of feeling of solidarity. Then also because of the events in the United States, some people have a feeling like the ground isn't as stable as it used to be. And there's a feeling people all over the world, Jews all over the world, are feeling that we need to have our home more than ever. For many people, having a home is not just a theoretical homeland, but it's actually purchased. And Netanya is a beautiful, beautiful area right along the coast. And I'm actually in Florida right now, so the connection to Florida and Netanya is very good. So I'm just going to share with you a couple tips. What I do is I'm a professional money changer. What that means is that you have whatever foreign currency you have, but it doesn't work when you want to purchase property in Israel. When you purchase property in Israel, you have to use the local currency, which is the shekel. So now that you know that you need shekels, the question becomes, how do you get your shekels over here? The most convenient way people try to bring their shekels over is they try to use their regular bank, because that's what they're used to. So you go to the bank, it doesn't matter, Chase Bank, Citibank, any of the major banks, you ask them to send over shekels, they can do it for you. Problem is they charge a lot. I'm familiar with the US market here. They charge 3% as a discount to the actual exchange rate. That means for every $100,000, you're sacrificing $3,000 just to the bank. I promise you, the bank does not give your money. Then other way that you could do it is if you happen to have a bank account in Israel, which is not easy to do as a foreigner, you're not actually in Israel, then to send the foreign currency to the bank in Israel. Banks in Israel, they tend to charge less than foreign banks, but you're still paying 1.5% as a total fees. The banks try to confuse people where they charge a fee, they charge a commission, and then they reduce the rate. So all in, when you add in all three discounts to the exchange rate, you're down to about 1.5%. Less alternative you have is using a company like mine, where we've been doing this in Israel now for 17 years, probably close to 2 billion shekels transfers. We know how to receive foreign currency, we're licensed, regulated. We then know exactly what the bank needs in order to clear the funds. We're able to offer you chances to trade your rates all day long. You watch the rate, it's a rate you like, grab it. If you don't, you wait. And then we're also able to pay all the bills for you. So you don't even need to have a bank account in Israel. We can sort of act like a functional escrow. We work together with a lawyer, with a broker, with everyone who's involved. They tell us what payments need to be made, and whether it's new construction, existing construction, purchasing land at a auction, whatever it is, we've done it before. And we're able to get you your money at much better rates than you could do it with less hassle. You'd be working with a company that's been doing it for 17 years, where we have the highest regulation that's available for a money service company in Israel. That means that we've invested hundreds of thousands shekels in cybersecurity to make sure that you're safe, your money is safe, and it's something that we don't compromise. So I'm running right now to catch my next flight. I'm actually at the airport right now. So I want to say thank you to everybody. Normally I'd like to stay and schmooze. I know that they're going to share my contact information. I love talking real estate. I love talking finance. I love talking to Jews. So send me an email. We'll set up our own Zoom. And I want to say mazel tov to everybody who's considering purchasing property in Netanya. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. And you're going to be making a decision now that's going to affect your family for generations to come. So mazel tov to you. Thank you so much.
Safe travels, Daniel.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to us again. So once again, thank you for joining us. Like I said, our topic tonight is why Netanya. And for me, why Netanya is special. I made Aliyah to Israel 47 years ago to Netanya, and I've been in Netanya ever since then. And you'll hear soon why, but basically love Netanya, and I'm really, really proud to call Netanya my home. So we're going to start off. We're going to start just with a short video of Netanya. It's in Hebrew, so we'll stop and just give a bit of explanation on the way. So just it's a short 2.5 minute video. Please enjoy.
Can we have a bit of it on?
So we're doing a flyby in Netanya, and now we just stopped overlooking the cliff on the sea, and what we see now is one of the known streets in Netanya called Hagila. It's on South Beach. As you can see, the front houses and cottages, and at the back there's high-rising, an area that is very sought after by foreign clients. Now we are overlooking Ir Yamim. I guess most of you overlooking this now have seen Ir Yamim before. It's one of the neighborhoods that is very sought after by foreign clients. You will see here buildings by the best companies, the front ones by Briga. In the middle, you can see, if some of you know, there's the area called the Piano. And this is a great, great neighborhood that was just built in the last 15 years. What we see now is Agamim, another neighborhood. If you look in the front of it, between the neighborhood and the sea, you can see an area which will be flying over now, is what we call the pond, or the Shlulit HaChoref in Hebrew. An area which is very, very nice in the winter and in summer. Lovely neighborhood. Again, something that was started something like 13 years ago. we just gone through the industrial area. And if we can go another couple of seconds forward, Sarwin, we will see Kiryat Sharon. Netanya has two industrial areas, and right in between them, on the east side of Kvish Achov, you will see Kiryat Sharon. There it is just now. A lot of you going by on the main road of number 2 road between Tel Aviv and Haifa would see the stadium, the new stadium of Netanya, and this new neighborhood. One of the things that Netanya is invested a lot of money and thought into education. There's a college in Netanya, and you can see here a couple of schools. You can see the spread out. You can see the playgrounds and everything. The municipality has done a lot into promoting everything to do with education. Just flying by the center of Netanya. And this is the Nitza area. I guess a lot of you know it. Nitza is the front street overlooking the sea. A lot of foreign clients, Anglo-Saxon and French and Russians, really like this area. This is actually where we are looking just now. Our office is just there. And one of the thoughts of the mayor is having a marina in Netanya, which is still to go.
Okay, so I'm sorry that went a bit slow. For some reason it wasn't play as a movie, but basically just two things I want to talk about. To just mention that we didn't mention before, when Eyal said industrial areas in Israel, it's more of a commercial area. It's where all the big shopping centers are, where all the restaurants are, and there's actually less industrial building and more commercial areas. All, of course, in very short distance from anywhere where you are in Netanya. So now we're gonna just talk about just a little bit about the areas, the experts in the areas. We're talking a little bit about the areas. So I'm going to introduce Darren Rich, who's sitting there, the proper Darren Rich, not the one who said Darren Rich before. Darren made Aliyah in 2007. I had the honor of selling him his home when he made Aliyah, and he's been with us ever since then. And I think everybody today knows that Darren's the man in Area Mem in Ramat Poleg and in South Beach. So Darren, if you can just tell us a little bit about the Poleg Area Mem area and South Beach.
Hey. Hi everybody, whether it's good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Okay, so my name is Darren, as Julian said, and I made Aliyah from Manchester, England in 2007. I went directly to Ramat Poleg. So at that time, Mim was just being under construction at the beginning stages. And I've been working closely there ever since. And we brought many people there, many of them still here, from really all over the world. And the area has become, over the last 15, 16 years, probably one of the most sought after areas along the coast in Israel. For so many different reasons, and it just keeps getting better and better and better. As the area started developing, the population also started changing, with many people owning homes from outside Israel, and it brought some more religious persons to the area, and eventually the synagogues did not have enough space for them. But I'm going to let Jonathan Lieberman speak about that further, about the religious side of it in the synagogues. But it just shows the type of population living here, wanting to be here, and the fact that every eating place in the area is all kosher. So anybody can go out, walk outside, and just have a bite to eat, a coffee, and everything's kosher. The area is built on 2 walking promenades. There's a blue one that goes from the water through the neighborhood and ends up at the shopping mall. And then the green one goes from one side to the nature reserve. And there's no stairs anywhere in the area. So whether you have a buggy, a stroller, bicycle, a wheelchair, access is absolutely fantastic. It's fantastic for every age. The Black Irish Nature Reserve, which is on the north side of Area Mim, blooms twice a year, and they come from all over Israel to see the plants. They come from the schools, and it's very pretty. We've got a large shopping mall there, and as Julian said, there's a piano area in the middle of the neighborhood with supermarkets, banks, medical centers, gyms, vets, and almost everything you need for day-to-day living. This is the only part of Netanya, incidentally, that is not built on a cliff. So access to the actual beach, to the water, is completely flat. The rest of Netanya is built on a cliff, with one area having an elevator, but Area Mim just doesn't need it. It's completely flat. Now, if we talk a little bit about the apartments in the area, the majority of the homes are 4 bedrooms. 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. There are 3 bedrooms, and then the special apartments of penthouses and mini penthouses. There are no houses in Area Mim, none whatsoever. But Ramat Poleg Area Mim is just separated by one road. So when I talk about Area Mim, I'm classing Ramat Poleg in the same category, and it's the same population. In Poleg, they have houses. So it's the same, it's just one big neighborhood. And there's country clubs, bakeries, ice cream stores, everything. And during the last 7 weeks of the war, we've seen the most amazing togetherness that I personally have ever seen, ever. Just from everyone in the neighborhood willing to help in every way possible, with the soldiers, displaced families. And it really shows the strength of the community actually living in Area Mim and Poleg. I personally live there. I couldn't see myself living anywhere else. I brought a daughter up in the area, and everything I wanted to achieve as I made Aliyah, family-wise, I achieved everything. So I chose the area very, very well. And I could not recommend it more, even not just from a commercial point of view, from a personal point of view. And we've helped people with young kids, older kids, retirees. We've helped people in the 90s make Aliyah. So it suits everybody. So that's just the basics of it. So over to you, Julian.
Okay, so thanks, Dan. I'm going to ask now if I'm very happy and pleased to introduce Dr. and Rabbi Johnny Leibovitz, who's a community leader in Lieberman, I beg your pardon, who's a community leader in Poleg and Area Mim, a man much admired by many, and we admire him for the work and help he does with the Olim and all the newcomers to the neighborhood. And of course, guys, anybody wants to write questions, there's Q&A at the bottom. If anybody wants to fill in the meantime Q&A, they're welcome to. We will answer all the questions at the end. So over to you, Johnny. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. First thing, let me just correct Darren. A chutzpah that he said that he refers to Area Mim and he includes Ramat Poleg. What he really means is he should refer to Ramat Poleg and include Area Mim, who are the new boys on the block. I, of course, live in Ramat Poleg, which is an area that was built in 1970s. I haven't been here since 1970. I've been here. I bought my house in 2008. I made Aliyah 2013. It is the most wonderful community. I would not live anywhere else. I would say that, wouldn't I? Because I'm the leader of the Anglo community here. But there you go. It is an amazing place. We have something for everybody, religious and non-religious. We have for men, we have for women. There is so much going on in our community, specifically for English speakers. There are 2 Ashkenazi shuls. There's a whole bunch of Sephardi shuls as well, but the 2 Ashkenazi shuls that there are, one is the one that I am the president of, and we have a mixture of Israeli, French, and English. And when I say English, I mean Anglos, English, South Africans, Americans, Australians, and we're probably about 40% of the community. We try to mix the things up so that we maintain our Israeli flavor. So the drashot and sermons, etc., are given in Hebrew, but then afterwards we have everything translated into English, and we have lessons, shiurim, we have cultural events, both in Hebrew and in English. And in fact, if I'm truthful, there are more things going on for the Anglos than for the Israelis, largely because the Israelis are not so interested in joining all the things that the Anglos are. But we do tiulim together, we have lessons, we have women's sessions, we have challah baking. There is so much going on, and since the war that's been going on here, the togetherness has been amazing. The other shul I want to mention is what I refer to as the American shul, and it is basically all Anglos. Everything is done in English there. The prayers are done in Hebrew, obviously, but all the announcements and all the sermons and what have you are done in English. And so if you feel that you want to have a completely sort of Anglo experience, you've got that as well. If you want to have a more integrated approach, then you have that too. You can choose what you want. There is across the spectrum of religiosity, from secular all the way through to Orthodox, and there is something for everybody and all ages as well. We have kids, we have teenagers, we have a very, very thriving B'nai Akiva in our shul with over 100 kids every Shabbat, various times during the week. We have shiurim every single day in English. There is loads and loads of things going on. And even if you don't want to get involved in the community, the place is just gorgeous. There is the most beautiful beach. The piano complex, which you've heard mentioned, has not really been done justice yet. It is stunning. There is absolutely everything there. You want to go and have food, you can sit and have food. You want ice cream, you can have ice cream. You want to go to shops, you can have shops. You can have your hair done, you can have your nails done. You can do what you like. And it is just beautiful. It's all pedestrianized. And apart from a few lunatics on scooters, you are completely safe. It's a wonderful, wonderful neighborhood. I cannot recommend it more. We're looking forward to seeing you here. Come home to Israel and come to Netanya. Let me just say, if I may have another 90 seconds of your time. And my daughter lives in Kiryat Sharon. She is coming up to 30. Those of you who are that sort of age group, it is an amazing area. If I was 30 years younger, I would go and live in Kiryat Sharon. The community there is fantastic. They are so supportive of one another. Again, a big Anglo community there, but integrated with the Israelis, young families, zillions of children's parks and kindergartens and schools on every single corner. It is just the most wonderful place. I cannot tell you, I have had a completely new lease of life coming to live here, and I'm looking forward to welcoming you when you come and see us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Johnny. Thank you. Appreciate that. So, Darren, we're going to go back to you now. You're just going to carry on a little bit north. We're going to go to the South Beach area. Just tell us a little bit about the South Beach area. And unmute yourself.
Okay. So it's me again. So we're still talking about the coastal area. So area I'm in on a map, Oleg, is the furthest south. Okay, so now I'm heading slightly north, maybe about 2 or 3 kilometers north, and we end up in an area. We named it South Beach all those years ago. The correct area is Nat 600, but people call it a little bit like Miami, so we named it South Beach, and the name's taken ever since. There's three hotels there, and they recently built an elevator down to the beach, which made life a lot easier for everyone living there. And they put breakers all along the coastline there to stop the wave coming all up against the cliff and causing corrosion. So it's a nice place to swim. They've got lifeguards there. They've got a restaurant there. And the area's built slightly different to area I'm in. You have the cliff. You have a beautiful, beautiful walking promenade with a cycle lane. You then got the small road. You then got 3 rows of houses, and then you've got the buildings. So there you got a mixture of buildings and houses. So if sea view is important for you, anywhere over the 3rd floor, you'll see the sea, and you're not far to walk there. So the oldest building there is probably 16, 17 years old, maybe a little bit more, and other buildings, the little bit of new construction now. And there's a new area very, very close by there called Park Hayam, which is it's not completely on the coast, it's slightly inland. It's like a 5-minute walk to the beach. That's a new neighborhood that's under construction now. And so far that's been really, really successful. They're involved in building a shul there for the Anglo speakers. It'll be an Israeli shul, a bit similar to like what Johnny said. His is, but it's actually working out. They're just bringing a rabbi in, so they're building it's like a slightly new neighborhood there, and that's like 10 minutes walk to the sea. So that's because then also there's a synagogue there called the Snack Shul, which stands for South Netanya Ashkenazi Community. It was started by a small group of people about 16 years ago. And then they had nowhere to go to shul, and it just spiraled and spiraled and spiraled, and they ended up with their own premises right next to one of the hotels. So it's a big plus. People come to the area just for this community. A lot of it is around the shul. They do things together. It's very community based. It's a very, very nice community. It's very, very international. I walk down the street, I hear many, many different languages and accents, and it's been very, very popular with non-Israelis, and even now Israelis want to live there. They're coming from all places in Israel, Ra'anana, where they don't have the sea, Jerusalem, where they don't have the sea, and they come here. They want to wake up and see the sea. It's a good example. So that's in a couple of sentences a little bit about the South Beach area.
Okay, thanks, Darren. So we're going to move on to North Netanya, which people who know Netanya from historically was probably the only area in Netanya. So I introduced my partner Eyal. He's spoken before, but just introduce him again. Eyal, born and bred in Netanya, lived in Netanya his whole life. And I don't think anyone knows Netanya as well as Eyal knows Netanya. So Eyal, if you want to just unmute yourself and just tell us about the North Netanya and Central Netanya area.
Yes, thanks, Julian. Like Julian said, I was born in Netanya, somewhere in the middle of the 60s. And back then, Netanya had like basically 2 main streets. One that was coming from right at the beginning of the entrance from number 2 road, which I mentioned before, all the way down, going down to the Kikar and to the beach, which was, that was the center of Netanya. 1 street leading all the way down, and Netanya has spread. Netanya is huge now. Netanya is actually in Israel, has 14 kilometers of beachfront, which means that, I mean, the north, the middle, the south, everywhere there's beaches which one can go and enjoy. And this is the main highlight in Netanya, and it's beautiful. That was made Netanya back in the 80s and 90s to be the most sought after for tourists. And later, when the big change made when this last mayor of Netanya, Mrs. Fireberg, which has been for just over 20 years in Netanya. Netanya has developed a lot. We've seen through the video that it went all around to all the new neighborhoods. The center and north of Netanya has begun through a process a few years ago of renewing buildings. We have recently, like 6 months ago, just finished off selling a whole project, which in Netanya is like 250 meters from the front line of the Nitza Boulevard. It's located on Rav Kook. There were 12 buildings there, old buildings that were knocked down, and instead of them, there were 4 high towers built. 2 of them have been occupied already. The other 2 are going to be finished within a year. And this is like a process that's been going on in the center and North Netanya because of the age of the buildings. So it's getting a new spirit now. Saying that, you can always remember that the best sought after streets like Nitza Boulevard and its surroundings, and Amapilim and Dankner Street. They are all streets right at the front line of Netanya. They are at the center, and it's very beautiful. So Netanya has got a lot of new spirit injected to her, and the center and north are having a lot of new stuff happening to it. So there's a place for everybody, and anyone can make the right choice. I completely agree with what John Lieberman said before about living in Ramat Poleg and the opportunity of living in Kiryat Sharon, slightly different, how would I say, communities, but everybody finds their own place. Netanya has all around it Jewish, more religious, less religious, and everybody's living together. It's a very, very nice mixture. At the north part of Netanya, there's a very, very Haredi area called Kiryat Sanz, which is like 5 minutes walk from Nitza Boulevard. But like I said before, there's an opportunity for everybody.
Okay, thanks, Eyal. So now I'll introduce you to my 4th partner, and that's Sohan here. Sohan made Aliyah in 1978 from South Africa. When we were younger, he used to beat me up, but now we're partners, and now we're setting apartments together, and we're bringing lots of olim to Netanya. So, Sohan, you tell us a little bit about the Kiryat Sharon area before we move on.
Okay, and give me 1 sec, and we'll have Kiryat Sharon. All right, guys, thanks for joining us, and we're hoping that this webinar will give you a little more insight as to the different areas of Netanya. I'm going to talk a little bit now about Kiryat Sharon. As Julian said, I also made Aliyah in 1978. We actually came to Renana, where my parents made Aliyah, and I've now been living in Netanya for the last close to 20 years. And my kids definitely won't live anywhere else. When Julian said those days were when we were in our youth and at school, we played rugby against each other. Who knew then that we would actually become partners in business? But that's life. That's what life does to us. So I'm going to speak a little bit about Kiryat Sharon. Kiryat Sharon was founded in somewhere around about 2000 or the very late 90s. As today has a population of approximately 24,000 people. It stretches over there at the. Wait on a sec, that wasn't meant to happen. I touched the wrong button. One sec. Yeah. Okay, so it's approximately, and the average age of Kiryat Sharon is around about the 32 years old, and has 8,500 families. So I'm just going back to what Johnny said earlier, average age 32, these are all young families. In fact, the designer of Kiryat Sharon was given at the time, he got the Israel Prize of Architecture of the way Kiryat Sharon was designed, how the buildings were planned, in such a way that all the buildings actually, there wasn't a building that faced each other. All buildings either would face a park or would face a road. So everything was done with that in mind, which really proved its point. If we're talking about Kiryat Sharon, if we're looking at the map, you can see we're just to the east of the 2 highway, where we also have then we have the railway line and the actual suburb of Kiryat Sharon. Today in Kiryat Sharon, we have 3 main shopping centers. The soccer stadium, which is literally a chip and a putt from Kiryat Sharon. Train station also. So the actual neighborhood has really grown. We have to the north, we have the Netanya industrial area. To the east, we have Moshav Nordia, and to the south, we have Even Yehuda. So we have quite, it's not city center, it's not suburbia, but yes, you have all that you need within a city. Okay, this thing keeps on falling back every time. And this is just an aerial picture of Kiryat Sharon. As we can see, we have the high-rise, the areas where there are high-rise of 15 to 20-story buildings. We have buildings of 7, 8 stories. There's a variety of everything. A lot of the apartments over here started off initially as 3 and 4 rooms. Of late, we're now getting a lot more 5-room apartments. What's actually happened is that Kiryat Sharon started off as a place for the young families, and then as time went on, the grandparents wanted to be close to the grandchildren, so they've moved in as well. So as a result, it's become really very much a family-orientated neighborhood. We have in Kiryat Sharon, we have what we call the Sergeant's Grove, which is very much nature, and as nature is very important to our city. We have trees over there that have been standing for decades. They are decade-old trees. It's a combination of oaks, pines, and eucalyptus trees which is really a great thing. The actual grove actually comes from the British Mandate, where the abduction of we had two British sergeants were found over there. They were abducted by the Irgun in 1947, and they were found in the woods. So that's where it got its name from. Today, within the grove, we have paths, cycling paths, running paths, kindergartens, really a great area for kids. Obviously, the Netanya soccer stadium, which I mentioned, which is just a chip and a putt from Kiryat Shimon. And that's basically all about Kiryat Shimon. Jules, back to you.
Okay, so before you just carry on with the rest of the, am I talking? Am I unmuted? Yep.
No, you're good.
Okay, so just before we go back and talk about the rest of the slideshow, we wanted to show just about numbers of Netanya. I'd like to introduce a colleague of ours, Tanya Kuchal, a specialist and an expert lawyer in real estate. We've been working with Tanya now for, if I'm not mistaken, it's close to 20 years already. I know she looks like she's about 25, but yeah, we've been working with her for a very, very long time, and to be honest, has never let us down, and it is a pleasure working with her. So Tanya, if you just want to do your
Hi,
part.
everyone. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Julian. I'm listening to the descriptions of Netanya, and I'm not even sure you all did them justice. The level of the community and the togetherness there is it sounded dull in your stories compared to what's been going on in the last month. I think next time you have to show them a movie of all that you've been doing. Okay, so I'm not going to get into how we buy, the legalities of buying. I'm just going to tell you two things. Firstly, it is completely different from anywhere else in the world. You have to, it's important to understand the process, whether you're buying from a developer or you're buying secondhand, before you start, just to get an idea of what you're negotiating for, what's going on, you know, making sure so you don't have a feeling that someone's taking advantage of you, just because it's really, really different, the process. If you're in the States, you're going to be shocked when you find out that you're paying the seller directly. Money doesn't go in escrow. It's stage payments, but it's not a deposit. And then the balance, it's really just stage payments. Can't tell you how many times I've been asked, what do you mean? I'm giving the seller an interest-free loan? Yes, that's how it works. So when you're interested, when you're ready, you know, I'm happy to talk you through it, explain you the stages of the process. But the most important thing, and this is what I want to talk about now, is having the 4 things on my list done as soon as possible and as soon as you're serious and you're ready to buy. So number 1 is if you're planning on taking a mortgage, if you want to take financing, which you can, even as a foreigner, up to 50% of the value of your property, that needs to be pre-approved. Your contracts are not contingent on whether you can get a loan, not get a loan. All the due diligence, including getting pre-approved, has to be done before. Second, opening a bank account. So Daniel, right at the beginning, talked about using third parties, using him as a semi-escrow account. That's absolutely incredible. I highly recommend doing that if possible. But if you're taking a mortgage, you have to have your own bank account because you have to be able to pay for it somewhere. And that's something that we can do even without you being here by using power of attorney. So yes, it's a little bit complicated. And yes, you know, not all the banks do it. But when people tell you you can't open a bank account in Israel because you're a foreigner, it's not true. You can. And I can do it for you. Transferring money to Israel, that's probably the most complicated part of the process. This is where Daniel Eisenberg comes in very, very, very handy, where he can help with the compliance. Dealing with the banks is difficult. It just took me recently about a month and a half to get money approved the bank asks you for a document, you send it to them, they say, okay, then they say, no, it's not good enough, they want a different document. It goes on and on, a lot of back and forth. It's frustrating, but it can be done. And once it's done and your money, the source where you're sending money from is an approved source, then you've got a bank account and you can transfer money. And after that, it's easy. And if you've got those things in line, it's really easy to buy a property. So the last thing, and that's number 4, is signing of a power of attorney. You can buy a property using power of attorney. You can see apartment on Zoom and not come here at all, if that's what you choose. You can sign your power of attorney in Israel when you see it, so that whoever you appoint can sign the contracts on your behalf. Power of attorneys, someone just move to the next page. Someone? Thank you. Okay. So just so you know how you sign a power of attorney if you're out of Israel. So your options are either at the Israeli consulate. If you're close to a consulate and you can get an appointment, that's definitely the cheaper way. The downside is that the consulate is very particular. You cannot sign in Hebrew if you don't understand what you're signing. They'll check you, and then translations becomes a different story, as they have to have approved translators of the consulate. So option number 1 is you sign in English. In most properties, that's fine, and we can use power of attorneys in English. If there's no consulate near you, or no appointments, or not able to sign in English for whatever reason, then the other option is notary and apostille. So I have notaries that I work with both in England, South Africa, and all over the States, where they can help you. You sign your documents, they arrange the apostilles stamps for you. It's quite fast, it's efficient, it's a little bit expensive, but it's a great service. And once you've got that, again, you can open a bank account, you can take a loan, you can buy a property. All those things are easy. It's just important to do everything in the right order. That's it for now. I'm here for any questions.
Thank you, Tanya. Just before we do go to questions, someone, you just want to do a quick PowerPoint on Netanya with numbers and just a bit of facts about Netanya, and then we can talk about just a few projects, and then we can do your questions and answers. So go up to the PowerPoint, and then we'll carry on from there. You're mute. Someone, you're mute.
Okay, all good now, Joel?
Yep.
Okay, so again, we're back to Netanya. Just we'll go through this pretty quickly. As we said before, our beautiful coastline. Population of Netanya is about 272,000 people. It is the 6th largest city in Israel, spread over just about 35,000 dunam, of which we have a 14-kilometer coastline. Unbelievable, beautiful coastline. And our average age of Netanya is under 40s, 39. Regarding Aliyah, Netanya has been recognized as being the top city in not only in getting Aliyah, but absorbing Aliyah and people staying. In 2022, Netanya received 7,300 olim, which was unbelievable and all successful, Aliyah. A lot of which has been thanks to our mayoress, who has been a mayoress, if I'm not mistaken, for close to 20 years. So she's definitely had her fingerprint on what gets done, how things get done. Just as an example, there was a stage where she wanted people from the high tech. So what she did was she actually went to all the high tech companies, the Cisco's, the HP's, the Microsoft, the all those type of guys. And she said to them, what do you want to come to Netanya? And they said to her, we want X, Y, Z. Came back to them a few years later and said, okay, now you've got X, Y, Z. When you're moving. And they did. So she's very much a go-getter, and she has done a lot for where Netanya is today. If we look at the map of Netanya, towards the north, we've got the M settlements. In the east, the Leva Sharon, Nordia, and in the south, we have Chofa Sharon, approximately 50 kilometers from Haifa and 20 kilometers in the south southwards towards Tel Aviv. And then again, I'm going to say it again, to the west, we have our beautiful beaches. Okay, so as we are in Netanya, at the moment, Netanya has approximately 26 neighborhoods. And we have there's a planning of another 10 new neighborhoods with approximately 25,000 new residential units. So that says a lot for what's going for the growth that's going to be in Netanya. Part of the promotions of we have our Netanya, where they do a lot of this science, ecological pools, workshops at the planetarium, which basically they look out into space. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, is only 2 of which in the country, and one of them is in Netanya. Ecology, Eyal mentioned it earlier, the natural part, we have our winter pond in Agamim, and I spoke earlier about the Sergeant's Grove. We also have the Black Iris Reserve, which is just off Area Mim. So a lot of nature and very important. We spoke about the stadium earlier. And we have the central Netanya with its ponds. Very much looking towards the future. Netanya is basically in a situation where we are promoting urban renewals. In other words, in taking the old apartments and knocking them down and rebuilding them, which is something that we can see over here, is a very, very big thing in Netanya. We're going to have a new area which is going to be starting up, which we call the Netanya, the new metropolitan area of Netanya, which is starting up already now, which we call forgotten the word. In the new area, Jules, help me.
You're looking at industrial area?
No, the new Park Hayam. Okay. So that whole area is a whole new area, which is now also going to be starting up. We have 2 industrial areas, which are one which is more industrial and the other is a more high-tech, sports, recreation. And then, as Darren was speaking earlier, the whole of the coast, because the cliff is being washed away, they've now put water breakers in order to stop that from happening, in order to protect our beaches and the erosion of our cliffs. And with that, that's it. Thank you very much.
No, not yet. Thank you very much. We're just going to talk quickly about 3 projects marketed in Netanya, 3 interesting projects marketed in Netanya. You started off about someone has also asked, anonymous has asked about the project on Ben Gurion Street. So it's got to do with Park Hayam, what you're going to talk about now. Please provide information about the planned project on Ben Gurion Boulevard near the Netanya Planetarium. How big, planned start time, planned completion, so on. So if you can just give a bit more information about Park Hayam.
Okay.
Unmute. Yeah.
One
So let
sec,
me
one
put it up,
sec, one sec. Okay. Okay, yeah, off you go.
You put the matzeget on?
Yeah.
So it's not up yet. You're still on the.
We're still seeing your files, so not
Yeah.
Okay, one sec.
Yeah, you can start talking about in the meantime.
Yeah. Well, the first project we're talking about is by a company called Africa Israel, which I mentioned before. We've just finished up a project in the center of Netanya with 400 units, and over here in Park Hayam, which is the newest neighborhood, which none of the buildings is finished yet. So this is the new building by Africa Israel. It's called Savion Gardens Tower. It has a very unique shape to it. It's in a shape of a plus, which actually creates complete privacy for each and every apartment because it has no walls connecting between the apartments. There are different apartments. At the low floors, you can get 2-bedroom apartments. Of that, we have 3 and 4-bedroom apartments. Up to the 18th floor, they are at one size. Above that, they grow a little bit more. We're looking at a starting point of 28,000 shekels per meter on this project. And we're looking to finish somewhere at the beginning of 2028. So this is regarding that project. You can see it on the map. For those of you who don't,
Just try and see if you can show, but yeah.
Excuse me?
If you can show with the mouse, you can do it.
Yeah, on the map, you can see the red spot, which indicates where the building is going to be. And left to it is the Ramada Hotel. Ramada Hotel is right on the cliff. And we're looking at something like 300 meters from there. And the distance to the beach where the arrow is gone, next to the lagoon and everything is in walking distance. Everything is close by. Great project. I really recommend it. So that's regarding this one.
If you can just add a bit more about which, they're asking which other projects are coming up there and what is coming up over there. For example, Shikuru Binui and
yeah,
Levenstein.
Okay. Just the last few words about this project, which called the gardens. Okay, so the plot is quite big, and on the floor below, on the grounds, there are 4 different gardens that are going to be, very, very unique. For what Julian was talking about before, and Selwyn said it in when he was going through Netanya, the new area and like what is going to be the center of Netanya is Park Hayam. All the biggest companies build there, Shikunu Binui and Gindi and Electra, and some of those buildings are going to be finished within 6 to 7 months. The rest of them are just breaking grounds just now. It's going to be a beautiful area.
Hope, Mr. Anonymous, I hope that answered your question. Someone, you're going to talk to us about the next project in Kiryat Yamim Matzira. Tell about that. You can tell about that as well. Give an example we spoke about before of breaking down and rebuilding, reconstructing.
Okay, so here we have a project which is being built by Yuvalim. The idea behind this is that, as we said before, it's a project that it was an old neighborhood, a lot of old houses that have been broken down. There are going to be approximately 2,500 units to be built in the neighborhood by a lot of contractors. We're talking about approximately 800 units, which is going to be in two different stages, by which the first stage will be completed in approximately 48 months. We're looking at apartments that are 3, 4, and 5 rooms, penthouses. Our price per meter over here is approximately 28,000 shekels per square meter, and they're talking of occupancy for the first stage to be complete round about May 2027. So if we have a look at the project, we can actually see it over here. It's a project which will have 8 buildings, 4 buildings which are high-rise, and another 4 which are 6 to 8 stories, which are going to be built all together. At the end of this project, this is stage 1 of the project. Once this is complete, in fact, not once this is complete, they're going to be starting stage 2 of the project. We're talking about approximately another between 6 to 10 months to start stage 2 of the project. So if we're looking at the location, this is Yamim Hatzira, if you can see it on the map. We're literally across the road from Yamim. No, it does not have sea view, but yes, it is a trip and a putt. We cross the road basically from the Iris Nature Reserve and the sea. Another project that we're going to be dealing with is by ICR, Israel Canada Riem. They're actually building also in Park Hayam, where Eyal was speaking about it a little bit earlier. So we're talking over here of approximately occupation in another 18 months. Also, but here we only have 5-room apartments left, looking at approximately 34,000 shekels per square meter. If we look at the pictures, we can actually see that if this is the location. We are approximately maybe 400 meters from the water on the road, on one of the roads that are going to be going through. On the bottom picture over here, okay, this is a little bit of this is slightly old. This is where the building is going to be. And it is today it's already on approximately the 20, close to the 20th floor already, going forward. It'll have a flip, a fire pit, tennis court, and a gym in the building. Here you go, Jay.
Okay, Darren, just before we go into Yama, one of the questions was about Area Mem is, what's left in Area Mem. So basically, Area Mem there will be 4,000 units in Area Mem, 4,000 apartments when Area Mem is complete, which we believe is something between 5 to 6 years. 3,500 units have been completed already. So there are not many more projects left, and the one that is left, one of them that is left, and is a great project, is Yama, which Darren will be able to explain about.
Okay. So as Julian said, most of the buildings are now complete and occupied. There's a few pieces of land left to build, and one of them is this Yama project. The Yama project, if anyone is familiar with the area, is on Netanya Street, which is directly opposite the new Chabad house, the new Chabad rabbi. It's a project of 2 buildings with a swimming pool. Building 1 the skin of the building is now completed, and the handover is around about April next year. Building 2 is not being released for marketing yet, and the pool is being built together with building 2. Now, the apartments left in building 1, the apartments available, a lot of them have been sold. They started just over 5.5 million shekels on the first floor. That will give you 137 meters with a large 30-meter balcony. It's not front line to the sea, but we see the sea nicely. We see the see-through buildings, got good air, and they're very, very nice. They're very, very nice apartments. So as I say, building 2 is going to be different to building 1. The building 2 is going to be the apartments over 170 meters with 40-meter balconies, and the standard is going to be even higher. So they're going to build to a very high standard, and prices have not been released yet, but they're expected to be around about the 7 million shekels mark, which works out, that's on the first floor. And then when buying on paper, for anyone who doesn't know, each floor that goes up normally goes up, depends on the building. In this building, it'd be 100,000 shekels a floor. So floor 1 will be X, floor 2 will be X plus 100,000 shekels, all the way up to the special apartments like the penthouses. And so that really is one of you can see the location here. That's building 1. Then there's going to be a swimming pool between building 1 and building 2, which is building 2 is just starting the foundations. And it's where we see the arrow, there's a space, and then there's another building. Just for information purposes, while I'm talking about this is a building that has been bought by one community in America. It was bought by the one community, and they're the only people who will be living there. And it was bought mainly from the Syrian community of Brooklyn, New York. And they've been influential in choosing the design and everything else, just purely for information. So there's very, very little construction now. 10 years ago, 90% of the sales were all from contractors, which we were involved in most of those. But now it's changed because there's just not a lot left to sell. I hope that answers the question. If anyone has any questions on buying on paper, send us an email, and we will gladly respond to you.
Okay, there was another question which was emailed forward to us, and just a quick one, talking about resale properties, second-hand resale properties. So we have listed a big amount of resale properties of all different types, all different budgets, starting from the very low budgets in Netanya, the lowest possible budgets, and up to the very highest properties in Netanya. So again, anybody interested in secondhand, we have a great group of agents in our office who list the best properties available. So if anybody is interested in getting information on something specific, then they're very, very welcome to email us or call us, and we'll be very happy to do one-on-one Zooms, as Tanya will be very happy to answer anybody. And Daniel said before, if anybody wants to ask any questions about the law, about transferring money, or anything about real estate, then we're very happy. We're very happy to answer you at any time. We've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. We've just signed up now with a project in the neighbor of Netanya. There's a little city town called Even Yehuda, and there's 54 cottages being built over there, and we're going to be marketing this project. So it's also a good opportunity for people who want to live in a community and want to be together, want to buy together. The prices are very reasonable for Even Yehuda and for the whole area, the center of Israel. And of course, it's not out yet, so there will be pre-sale offers, and there will be some really good deals to be done. So please feel free to contact us about any of this. And like we spoke before, we have fantastic projects all over Israel: Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Ra'anana, Hadera, Netanya. So if anybody wants something but Netanya, and then they're very welcome to contact us, and we will send you all the information. And we spoke about this week. You spoke about it at our webinar a week ago. It's a buyer's market. First time in many years in Israel, it's a buyer's market. The opportunities, and the shekel is still much weaker to other currencies. So there's some fantastic opportunities over here. So if anybody else wants to mention anything, or thank you all for joining us. And we'll be contacting you about our future webinars, or like I say, any of your needs for real estate, or welcome to contact us.
I'm just going to say, I see a number of people have put their hands up.
Yeah,
if they don't mind, just to type, if they have a question, they can type the question into the chat, or just send us a personal email, and we'll be only happy to answer anything.
Okay, just another question quickly. Jose has asked, are there any international schools in Netanya? So yes, there's an international school in Evan Yehuda, like I said, which is basically a 5-minute drive from Netanya. There's an American school in Evan Yehuda. That's the closest international school in Netanya, the closest to Netanya.
Okay.
Hands up, but that doesn't help you with the hands up. Yeah. Okay, everybody. So have a great week, and we're here to help you with any of what you need. Wait, this is more questions. Are there any special considerations for Canadian buyers? Probably not to buy next to Americans, no? No, I'm joking. Darren, you want to answer that question?
Yeah, I'll gladly answer that question. The Canadian market is a strong market of ours. It has been for a long while. The majority from Toronto, but there are people now coming from Montreal. So you ask for special deals. We're very, as an office, we're very conscious of location and community for everybody. So the majority of the people we've had from Canada tend to come from the same community. So then their needs tend to be the same. So I remember I think one or two families bought at the beginning, and then it escalated. So everybody, their friends came, their neighbors came, and their cousins came, and they build like a mini community. They all tend to go to the same shul, which is normal. But special deals, we'll always find you special deals. We'll always find you the best. But as I say, we're very conscious of location. We don't just sell apartments. We sell a quality of life. That's what we do. We find the correct location. We're not embarrassed to tell you if we believe it's the wrong location. We will give you our advice based on experience. We don't just sell apartments. So send us an email. We'll have a chat, and we've got a lot of Canadian clients here. We can give references from any country in the world to anybody who wants to know how we work and what we do for our clients, which is more than anybody else.
If I can add a couple of words, there's an organization called the AACI. The organization has nothing to do with the prices of apartments or the deals, but they will help you with the soft landing. It's an organization working for the Canadian American community. They will help you settle down and give you all the information that you need. And we've been working a lot of time with them. They've been using us, we've been using them, and obviously anyone coming from Canada can have a soft landing using their connection with the AACI.
Yeah, well, we didn't mention as well this week, or we talked about it generally, but when it comes to banking, we have the right connections. We know the people we have to know at the banks, and they'll look after you in the best possible way. Mark Rees, who is in charge of the private banking, and Mizrati Pakot, in charge of the international clients, he usually takes part with us. He's not here tonight. But all these matters, together with Tanya, we know to look after everybody the best possible way, with the mortgages, with every possible thing you might need. And I'm just looking because there's more questions coming in. No. Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's the last question I see. I've answered the rest. Okay, guys, so have a good week, and thanks for joining us, and we'll be in touch soon. Thank you,
Thank
Tanya.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
guys.
boss. Thank you.
Thank you.